Go.
Okay, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you coming in to watch, tuning in. What I wanted to go over today, I had some feedback on the video I made about the grub, and I've had feedback on a few of the other videos as well. So I wanted to go over how I done the grub on a particular trip, and then we'll discuss some other baits and what I do in the process of fishing with them. The video I made the other day, I was talking about having to go over 6 different colors of the Zoom grub. I was getting a lot of hits, but I couldn't get them to really take. And what I was doing was, all the baits that I was using that particular day, and I'm going to be doing this, so bear with me, I was dyeing the tail only. This is chartreuse. It really doesn't show up that well here, but you put it in the water and it's amazing how vibrant that color is. Well, the fish was hitting and taking no matter which grub I used, they was taking the chartreuse completely off the bait, or most of the way off the bait. So after studying, this happened for a better part of an hour. Different colors. I used like 5 or 6 different colors that day. And finally, I'm sat down and I look at the water situation, the water clarity, and I decided the bite was the best with this particular color that day. The water wasn't crystal clear or nothing like that, so it had a little dinge to it. But they was hitting this color the best, and absolutely ripping the tail clean off of it. And the tail was chartreuse. So after thinking about it, I said, I thought to myself, now how can I make the adjustment? So here's what I done. I took the main body of the bait and dyed it in the chartreuse color. And now I've got a dark green tail. This is pumpkin green, but it was chartreuse up here. And in the water, it was really brilliant chartreuse. I know it doesn't show up that well on this, but you can trust me, it was really bright chartreuse. And so that made a huge difference. I got a 22-inch smallmouth the next cast, proceeded to catch a lot more smallmouth and largemouth, and finally I got a largemouth over 22 inches, and right at 23. So it was, both of the big fish were huge. They were 5 or 6 pounds easy. The largemouth was probably 6.5 because it had a huge belly on it. And it was a cold day. It was like, I think the temperature that day got to 40. So it started out in the low 30s or the high 20s, and it just progressively got warm. It was a nice day, but it was cold nonetheless. Now I wanted to go over some dyeing techniques that I do with different baits. This Farmer Spunk Shad, I was going over it the other day and I needed a little more clarity. So I was talking about how I dyed it. This is a dye pencil. And this last 1/4 inch, I just dye that part of it. And you can see there's not much dye there, but when this bait's in the water, it has a lot of wiggle action. And I know a lot of guys use it with forward-facing sonar. I do it with and without. Forward-facing doesn't mean that much to me, other than helping me find the shad. I do use it from time to time, especially if I take kids and I'm trying to teach them, or take older people out and want to help them catch fish, then I'm going to use it quite a bit. But if for children, I use it where I'm a high school coach. I use it as a training tool to help them understand why they're casting it, what they're casting at, and what the purpose of it is. Now, if this doesn't work when you dye it that far, sometimes there's 3 little rings right here, and sometimes I'll come on up and dye it up on these rings. And believe it or not, that makes a huge difference sometimes. Sometimes they want a little bit more, and sometimes they want a little bit less. So you have to adjust till you figure out exactly what's going to work for you that day. Now, one of the things I've done, this is my favorite grub right here, the Pearl White, with a 1/4 ounce head is what I've caught the most big smallmouth on, this particular type of bait. And if you'll notice, this one has a little bit of chartreuse here and there on it. It's Pearl White, but it's got little drops of chartreuse here and there. Now that got on there by accident with the dye. But what I discovered years ago, because I started using it like in the 70s, and the 80s was really good for me because I caught a lot of big smallmouth with it. What I wound up doing by accident was I had dropped a chartreuse pepper grub in the pack of the Pearl Whites and never thought anything about it. Well, a week later, I go to fish with them, and they all had that look. The chartreuse was in different parts of the bait, but it wasn't all over it. Well, that particular bag of grubs just was incredibly good for the fishing, and that's when I learned to put a little bit of dye on these baits, and it seemed to get more bites and better bites. Now Hank Cherry, he won the Bassmasters with this on Guntersville. That's why I'm making this video, because he's finally let the cat out of the bag. This is how good this bait actually is. So what I wanted to explain to you on grub fishing in particular is how they hit it and how it feels when they hit it. So when you're throwing a grub, I like it. It really doesn't matter to me on the line size. I use anywhere from 4 pound to 20 pound, depending on where I'm at and what type of fishing cover I'm fishing. It all works, the line does, but you got to have the line right to get the bites the way you need them. If you're in clear water, you want to go lighter line, definitely. If you're in dingy water, you can go up 15, 16, 18, 20 pound test, doesn't matter. On this bait, what I've noticed over the years was when they hit it, if a lot of smallmouth would absolutely try to take the rod from you. So you would know instantly it was a bite. But there was other times that when they would hit it coming at you, and all at once you'd feel nothing but slack, like there's nothing there. Well, when you felt that, you had a big fish and it was coming straight at you. So you had to hurry up and catch up to it and then set the hook. Now another bite that I'll feel on this particular bait, and I've noticed it with the grub only, I've not noticed it with any other bait. It feels like your line was hit with a rubber band, if you can imagine what that feels like. It's like a little twang. So when they hit it, you just feel just like a little slap on the line, and as soon as I'd feel that, I'd set the hook, and it was always a good fish. So they're coming at it kind of on sideways, I guess you would say on a 45 degree angle. They're coming towards you, but not directly at you where it just turns into slack. So you can feel something's happened, and then you set the hook. And a lot of guys that I fished with over the years couldn't understand why I was catching fish, and they wasn't. They didn't understand that they was getting bit the whole day. And when I finally explained to them what the problem was, they made the adjustment, and then they started catching fish better. So I'm hoping what I've went over with you will help you in your fishing, especially throwing a grub now that Hank Cherry's let the cat out of the bag. And hopefully this will help you along the way. Please like, share, and give me comments. Let me know where you want me to make adjustments or things you want me to talk about. And before I go, I had comment about this particular bait that I made a video with the other day, and they said that I didn't show the dye exactly how I done it on this Keitech. So here's what I like to do on the Keitech. If I take the dye pen, I like to dye just that part of the tail. And I don't know where, we'll try it this way. Just that part of the tail, just a little bit. Or you can take one and drop it, which I usually put a die in the lid. So I'll show you how to do that. I take the die, and this is the die I'm using, and I turn it upside down. Now I turn it back over, and I take the die from the lid, and I just dip the tail down in it, and that's what it does. And there's times that that's not good enough, and when that's the case, you want to die the whole tail, the entire thing. I prefer not to do that unless if they're hitting it and just won't accept it, then they're wanting the whole tail dyed. So that's the adjustment you have to make with that particular bait. And I will also say one more thing about this dye. The first year I was with High School Fishing, I had a brand new bottle of this dye, brand new. Had a young boy with me in the boat, and the coach was with me, and I was training him. And he opened this dye up and spilt the entire thing on my brand new carpet. A huge puddle of chartreuse dye on gray carpet, light gray carpet. So it stuck out like a sore thumb. Well, I went and they had a clear that's supposed to help clean that off. So I tried that, well, that just didn't work. What I discovered was, and the reason I'm telling you this, is after 2 weeks in the sunlight on the lake, it completely disappeared. So the sun will bleach this out. So if you spill it in your boat, it will bleach out on your carpet in particular. I can't say that about the seats, I'm not sure about that, but on the carpet, it definitely bleached out. So I'm hoping that that's helped you out some way, and give me comments about what you'd like to hear about, because I'm gonna go over a lot of different styles of baits, what I do and why I do it, and hopefully I can help you out down the road. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this. Thank you.